So, we all have those projects that are just too big to seemingly ever find time to tackle. And quite a few people can probably specifically relate in that they have an air quote Titan that is just sat in a box, not doing a lot of it. One of the problems that we often run into in this hobby when we have a large expensive thing is that we tend to go over the top on aspirations and end up making, in our heads, a simple thing extremely convoluted. But I today want to bin that off and do this project in a day. What's up, my movers and shakers? I'm Dave, this is MS Paints, and this is an air quote Titan in a day. Now this project is somewhat of a palette cleanser for me. I'm deep within the bowels of a board build at the minute, and it has so many different parts and so many different aspects that I honestly can't fucking stand to look at it anymore. I do have to do it, obviously, but I don't have to do it today. While tidying and sorting stuff out in the workshop to build that display cabinet a couple of weeks ago, I came across my Tau Supremacy armor. This is a model that I have had for probably coming on maybe 3.5 to 4.5 years. I can't remember when I bought it. And like most people, when you buy these big things, you build it right away, or you sit there and you procrastinate because you have so many wonderful, crazy, amazing ideas that you're going to do for it. That this guy, I can't remember the various things I planned that I wanted to do with him. At one point, even yesterday, when I was giving him like his third patch job reassembly, I thought I could put some Gundam wings on this guy. And I've had various other ideas over time, over those years. Every time I've got him out of the box and looked at him and thought, yeah, I could do something like that, I could do something like this. And ultimately, every time I get him out of the box, I come up with the ideas and I'm like, yeah, I need to set a couple of weeks aside for that. And then he goes back in the fucking box. So yeah, it's one of those things where you plan, have ideas, get excited, and he goes back in the fucking box. Today, I'm just gonna get him done. He's been dropped and broken and rebuilt and test painted and dropped and broken and rebuilt so many times. There's definitely bits missing. There's bits that are glued in positions I don't like. There's been some bad decisions made in the posing and building early on, which, I could get super glue debonder, but I can't be bothered. So he is kind of stuck in the dog pissing up a lamppost pose. And just to clarify, I know when people say Titan, they assume Warlord Titan. This guy does fall into Titan category. I did debate a Warlord Titan, but I honestly, I think it's just one of those kudos things. I think it's one of the most hideous models that you can get. And then what the fuck do you do with it once you've got it? What do you actually do with it once you've got it? So I bought this guy and I bought the Eldar Phantom Titan, which is, so he might be a one-day thing down the line as well. He's just a giant disco robot with flares, isn't he? So I'm going to crack on with this guy. I've got my list of things I need to do. And this one's going to be a longer form video. It's going to be a bit more chilled out. It's going to be less ridiculous shots and over-the-top production because I'm tired. So I'm just going to crack on and get this guy built in a day. Starting with the base. Let's go. Joy. Where the fuck has it gone? I can't find my cork bark that I would normally use to make some rocks with plaster, but I think because Forge World absolutely shithoused me on the base with that, because that is a, what's that, 160 mil? I think that's a bit of a joke of a base for him. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna put some actual fucking rocks on that. Have a look, see. Yeah, this guy's gonna weigh a fucking ton. That's what we like. That's Plains way. The bag was so heavy on my way back from the beach that day. Okay. Plenty of different types of rocks there. That'll weigh him down quite nicely. Put the rest out with tin foil. Good job. Brand new glue gun. Not entirely sure. Just leave that there to cook for a second to see if that is on. On? Everyone's on. Okay, cool. Already this poor son of a bitch is an amalgamation of whatever Pappy had lying around, fucking hell. So tinfoil is arguably the best of all scenic padding materials. Stuff is ultra posable, ultra pliable. Paper is not. Paper, once wet or left to its own devices, will change shape. Cool, that is a lovely new glue gun. Hot melt glue gun from Silicone. Ah, fucking dick. Now I have recently changed the kind of plaster I use. I think this is just, it's not plaster of Paris, it's just plaster for walls and shit. I did it predominantly because I was, you know, that board build I've got going on needed so much plaster to cover it. This was economically more viable from my local hardware store. Also, I have absolutely hated filming white things, because white things on camera always blow out to be completely detailless things. So brown plaster just sells a bit better on camera, at least I hope so. This video is probably not the best example because I'm just kind of running and or gunning. So next step is to basically chase the plaster as it cures and kind of sculpt back and get some of the texture of these rocks back. So again, another messy phase. It's not quite turned yet. What I'm kind of doing is just chiseling out lumps, and once the plaster is at a certain stage, it kind of chips itself into rocky stuff. No, that's way too soft. I'll come back to that in a minute. Thankfully the plaster will probably go off in the time it takes me to get around there. Nope, a little bit longer. any sort of patterns like that are just going to look like silt or clay that have streaked in the rain or whatever. Fucking bags of rocks, I don't even know what those are. Where the fuck did those come from? Maybe a garden centre? Maybe a garden centre. Before you ask, yes, I have a lot of sterling mud. It's going to save us some time in the long run anyway. I need to figure out a way to dry this off efficiently, because I'd probably like it dry in half an hour if I can to crack on with the painting. Yeah, sac de magique. I'll find somewhere to dry it off.
What's up, guys? Tony the Stefano here, back in perpetual forward motion with the deal of the century. You know what? I think this video might be our longest video yet. D-Doc's taking forever with that goddamn Warhammer. But you know what doesn't take forever? Building your first website with Squarespace. More segues than Paul Blart Mall Cop, am I right, guys? Am I right? All you gotta do to get started with Squarespace is to pick from one of the awesome, deliciously simple templates, put your own spin on it, and you're away to go. Every template can be customized in the same way, with your own text, pictures, backgrounds, slideshows, careful, and headers and footers. Along with 24-hour tech support and dozens of first-party tutorials, Squarespace gives you all the tools to make the website of your dreams in minutes. Ho, 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 but that ain't the best part. All right, sorry, yeah, the best part. Inbuilt domain acquisition tools means you can hop on over to this little tab right here, search availability for the domain name of your choice, add it to the subscription, and your website is immediately linked to the domain name, making it so easy for people to find the thing that you just made. It's that easy, guys. It's just that easy. So head on over to squarespace.com/MSPaints and use the code MSPaints at checkout to save yourself 10% off your first website subscription or domain. All right, bye now.
Okay, I think that's a pose I'm happy-ish with. This might be a Gorilla Glue job. Yeah. That is probably more than enough. Water in that fella. The bonus with this stuff is that it's activated by moisture, it's not air drying, so this will happily react and do the business. Menacing, looking down almost. Pop that on the interplanetary Warlord Titan decaffeination machine.
There's too cold to spray outside, which is pretty freaking annoying. And that means gradually throughout the day, the smell from the solvents is going to gently nudge its way into the rest of the building. And that fucking miserable golem-like creature on the floor above me is going to have a fucking cry wank over it. Are we? I was going to expecting John at any second.
So I was about to turn around and say, get fucked.
It's a bit of a pingy ting. We're ordering from Las Iguanas, mate.
Who's that boy? Oh, it's that Juanos Shumshang.
It's Los Iguanas himself.
will eventually know, but just because of what MIGRAINE codes were. But yeah, most of them have got that little ball socket and hole, so that works quite nice. The only shame with the other trigger with the back hole is the there's not. I've done Geocinicals, I've done Dracari,
Yeah. Vallejo liquid copper, lovely. Kind of goes on like gold leaf, but obviously it's copper. Is copper leaf a thing? Copper leaf? Maybe. Need to find a suitable, soon to be dead brush to sacrifice to these things. They're an interesting paint. Apparently they're alcohol based. I'm not entirely sure if they are. They seem to be some kind of resin thing. Yeah, cheap and cheerful. Amazon, not Army Painter brush. Nice grips though. I wish companies that make good brushes would do these kind of grips. Focus. Focus. Yeah, I wish we'd seen more of those grips with actual really nice brushes. But yeah, I think it's kind of like a resin when it dries. So if you take your eye off the brush for like 30 seconds, that brush is basically dead. We got cloud locks on, so the fucking pigment's settled by the time you get the fucker open. Be careful with this stuff, because once it starts going, once it runs, it ain't fucking stopping. It's quite nice actually. Some of you may be wincing at how I'm holding this, but honestly, it's so steady.
Teeth and your nails, just dig in there and turn. And you'll get out. Now this lens does have quite a long history, and both use the same lens design and dub theirs Distica, which is derived from the word distance. Now the Soviet Mir 1B 37mm f2.8 also uses the Flexicard optical design and was produced legally under license from Carl Zeiss Jena. Funny enough, it definitely gives you that film-esque kind of vibe. It is a sharp lens, particularly at the center. And
So yeah, I know I said early doors I was gonna do blacks, greys and whites with this guy, and introduce some little flecks of colour. But I think I'm gonna introduce the red here, which I am doing. There's just a bit of a pop. And red's pretty towel safe. White and red, that works. But the more I think about colours for this, I keep looking at the RX-78-2 over there that I did a few videos back, and I just want to put some red, blue and yellow on this Tau Supremacy, just to have it. I don't know if it works. I mean, obviously it works because the RX-78-2 launched a massive multimedia empire with model kits, and I believe they make more money than Games Workshop does, so that like something to that. Yeah, I mean he's all white, so it's not an issue to paint yellow. My box of 2 thin coats might even be turning up today, so we can see what the yellows in that are like. But so I've no idea if this format is working or not, or whether we like it. Ultimately, it's a palette cleanser for me. Not having to set up, shoot, do a thing, set up, shoot, do a thing, set up, shoot, do a thing, and do the thing repeatedly 500 times, and then finally shoot again. It's just a shoot and go, really. the board build has been kicking my ass so much. It's crazy how fast some of the whites and greys I was using. It's well, yeah, ceramite white, no fucking shit, right? Ulthuan grey, yeah, another culprit. It's impressive how many of those, having not been used for about 6 or 7 months, just shit the bed basically. I mean, I can try it. I'm not gonna fucking hurt anyone, is it? Why not? This fucker's sat in a box for like 4.5 years doing nothing. Even if he looks daft as shit, he'll still be painted.
Skeletons especially, but the other warband as well. So I started getting to work on it straight away, which is not something I do very often. Usually stuff arrives and it gets put to one side and tell me a long story of what has been going on at the end of the video. But for now, I thought it would be a waste.
I've got such an unbearable headache brewing. Definitely one of them MS migraines. Go on, lad. Go on, lad. Yes. Alright, so, this was meant to be a one-day build, but when I said during the build process that a migraine was kicking in, a migraine was definitely kicking in. It had been kicking in the entire time since I started. So even though it was only 4:45, I thought, you know what, fuck it. My way home was a complete blur. I just remember waking up the next day with like a packet of hobnobs next to the bed, a load of jelly sweets, and a cold cup of coffee. So it's nice to know that when I get a migraine and I'm not in control of my own faculties, that I absolutely will do the essentials. I'll go to bed with a pack of hobnobs. But that also meant that the gloss varnish that I put on had time to cure, which in the past I'd been a bit too hasty with oils and spirits and enamels over a gloss wash, and it hasn't cured and it's turned into a big old gooey mess, and it's fucked up. So at least now, a day later, this thing has had a chance to cure properly, do its business. Yeah. So we're just going to crack on. I think there's only another few hours in it, so maybe 2 or 3 even. Cracking on. Oh dear. Oh, that's a bit thick, that is. Holy shit, the bed. Okay. Smidge more dilution in there. Holy shit, no, I filled the bottle. Fucked it. Sake. Dick. There we go. That's the streaking grime I know and love. Fucking wow. How's it got solidified over time? And then I pour 9 litres of white spirit in there and it's like, yeah, I'm still thicker than I've ever been, Chief.
Those models are lost to the sands of time, unfortunately. I did rebuy them on eBay, like the metal sculpts. Yeah, at a point I would like to paint them and like recreate my first steps in the hobby.
Well, I think I've got like a little sort of chat show, as I see it there, just painted like all our food. I think mine was like a rocket, an old rocket.
Yeah. Cool.
So I remember when we were there, because you and that guy called Joe, who I worked with. Joe was my videographer for the painting and YouTube stuff. Yeah, Joe's great. And the kids as well, so we used to have a lot in common. We used to talk about it. You were in the corner down here.
So with an enamel wash, you get plenty of time to take stuff off, see if you're happy with it. I ain't really got that much time, so I'm happy with it. Sure, why not? And then matte varnish to lock it in place, unify all the different surface types, so matte, satin, gloss. All three of those are on here at this point. The matte's going to unify it, but also the matte is going to give me a clear primer with which I can then apply more paint, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that. There we go. I think I did actually leave on a bit too much streaking grime, but it's fine. So this pass, when done well, it can pass for mud shit, filth, whatever. And also rust and like the erosion of the actual colour of the material. So I will reinforce some of this with like a metal chipping. It's just fucking metal paint on it, that's why. Shut the fuck up. So shiny. So what I'll probably have to do is do my B-roll on Monday. I'll leave a coat of anti-shine on it over the weekend and that should cure down. Let's take all this shine off, I hope. With the shine coming off it, I can't actually see what I'm highlighting because it's basically highlighting itself. That's fine. The base is, if the base does turn out to be shit, once it's got the anti-shine on it, I can just go back and restart the base. That's not really a drama. That's certainly taking some of the shine off. Whether it actually looks any good in the end is going to be a debate. Any on there? Yeah. Dirty rice, that boy. Sure thing.